Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring postcards from Avalidad. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this tech-noir setting, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about the government of Avalidad and its forces. In the past, the interzone was divided by corporation districts, each apparently managed by a different company. That artifice is no longer employed, since there's not much need to cover up the truth that Kobayashi is the ultimate power around the city. The old corporate districts were then turned into laboratories, offices, warehouses, and residential areas for their respective businesses. The neurological center of Avalidad is now the business district, usually known as the City of Glass. The thing about Avalidad is that there is no government. The Kobayashi Corporation still pays for all services deemed necessary, and there's still a council composed of representatives of all the crucial corporations in the city, but these days they only get to make suggestions. In other words, the true government of Avalidad is Kobayashi Corporation. Funny enough, Takeda deals with day-to-day affairs on the corporate level, since, as far as it is known, no member of the Kobayashi clan has set foot in the city since the 1960s. On the other hand, when it comes to the secret police, Zone Sec could be considered the closest thing to a conventional government institution working in the city. They combine assignments usually attributed to law enforcement with the more sinister work of a secret police and propaganda department. Created in the early 1960s to maintain security in the corporate areas of Avalidad, at the time still known as Interzone, Zone Sec has grown into a kind of state police. There are undoubtedly other concerns, such as protecting the lives of essential executives, scientists, and their families, and trying to contain the leakage of technology and drugs into the city's underground. Two other priorities aren't publicly acknowledged: keep the future tech prototypes a secret and exterminate mutated beings. Zone Sec agents are attached to three major divisions according to the kind of work they usually do. There is the white-collar crime. These are agents with a college background in law, business, or even sciences. They rarely do any field work. They keep their eyes on records and follow up on executives' work, searching for clues of embezzlement, corporate fraud, and money laundering. These agents have the largest budget, though their work isn't as glamorous as they expected. We also have the operatives. These agents are what people have in mind when they think about Zone Sec, the tall, muscular agent in a dark suit, wearing shades and packing a heavy pistol in a shoulder holster. They are real, but they also don't have a glamorous job. Most of their missions take them to the worst dumps in the underworld, or the Crepuscule district, on a daily basis. But some of the best are attached to the white-collar crime division as liaisons. Those lucky bastards live the lives of international men of mystery. They attend the best nightclubs and casinos, spend time in luxury hotels and spas, and are invited to sumptuous parties. Then we have the patrol officers. Little more than the regular private security guard, they benefit from having the backup of Zone Sec. They usually patrol the streets of the City of Glass and all the places owned by the Kobayashi and Takeda empires. Some of Zone Sec's operatives, mostly the ones handling white-collar crime, are subjected to a special Garden of Earthly Delights program. There they receive mild negative stimulus associated with the kind of crime they regularly investigate. Now, when it comes to these forces explained in the book, you have stats for sample agents to be used with the actual fucking monsters and asterisk punk role-playing games, but they are easy enough to adapt to other systems. Now, let's talk about a few social, political, and religious forces. The lack of a governing body and political parties has given rise to the formation of several organizations and movements that try to uphold certain denizens' interests through pressure and influence. You have information on these forces, but also story seeds concerning them. There is Democracy Now! Democracy Now! Is arguably the most important and active political movement in the city. Their goal is to put an end to the current state of Avalidad as a corporate-owned city. They wish it to be absorbed by the Moroccan state, or to become an independent democratic country. When it comes to story seats, Kurt Kilgore, now leader of the Democracy Now! Movement, organizes a political protest staged very close to Zone 6 headquarters. Then we have the Thule Brotherhood. This political movement was inspired by the Thule Society, a German occultist group formed shortly after World War I, which had amongst its members several of the leading Nazi figures in Munich, including Rudolf Hess, and the Twitter feed of John Truman, an early 21st century right-wing opinion maker. When it comes to story seats, the characters are sent to investigate a lab that was abandoned by Thule. Except there are a few dying test subjects in horrifying conditions within. One is half-boiled inside a bathtub. Another was subjected to intense shock therapy and is comatose. Another has festering wounds crawling with maggots all around his body. And another was being vivisected when the scientists left. There's also the Mutant Liberation Movement. This is still an emerging group. Some of the mutants who still maintain a certain degree of humanity, helped by Niels Thorndike, started arranging meetings in underworld slums. They want to fight for their rights, end the use of mutants as guinea pigs, stop the exploitation of Gill people, among other similar demands. When it comes to story seats, Niels Thorndike and his Gill woman lover, Amber, wearing suicide vests, enter the Takeda Plaza and threaten to destroy the whole building. And these are just a few of the forces. There are also the Neo-Luddites, the Neo-Surrealist Society, and Psygnosciology, among others. Each one with background information, stats for the average agent, and story seats. The samples that I gave you of the story seats are actually a small glimpse of the whole thing. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about the places in Avalidad. As you can see, when it comes to the government, if you can call it like that, of Avalidad and its forces, they are somewhat realistic. They are still adapted to the tech-noir flair of Postcards from Avalidad, but they are designed to be somewhat believable within the fictional context. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending right through RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.